last game. CLG with some early aggression, and EnVy with some team composition as well as late game decision making.
So we'll see what these teams have learned and what they can put into practice here in Game 2, because certainly it was anybody's and both teams can take some lessons here. First off the bat, Azir not allowed to be played yet again, banned away. First ban by EnVy away from HuHi.
Yeah, giving some respect to HuHi. For all the memes and jokes you can make about HuHi's Azir at MSI, it had a good record and it was pretty clean when he played it yesterday. So definitely some teams giving it respect with the ban.
Jax also still mirroring the ban so far from Team EnVy, so nothing new from their side of this draft. All CLG's really done is change the order of their bans. The Vlad still mirrored from the last time, and now they can choose again.
Absolutely. Main change here is the fact that EnVy is on the blue side, CLG on the red side, so that first pick priority can change. Remember that first pick last game was the Rise, which HuHi was so effective with.
Right. And you would never first pick it unless you thought it was contested in the first place. And again, we know Seraph is happy to play the champion, so that is something CLG already has to give respect to and maybe consider what they would take on their own first round there and change up their options. So far, these 4 bans are the same as the first game, banned by the same lineup. CLG's banned the same 2, EnVy's banned the same 2.
Yeah, let's see if there's any changes coming up here. Was a Karma ban for CLG,
The Bard.
and a Bard ban for EnVy. Obviously, the sides have changed.
And so it's EnVy banning the Karma, actually.
I guess. I mean, in that case, Hakuho had actually been playing Karma pretty much before it even caught on. He was playing it in, I believe, the promotion tournament a little bit, so he's been a good Karma for a while. Interesting that they wouldn't be willing to first pick it. There's a lot of other stuff up. They know the Rise is still up. They know Kindred and Nidalee are still up, so Rise goes down for CLG. I think that was the mind game there.
Okay, so yeah, CLG wanted to first pick away Rise and then ban it at the end of this one on the red side, so not willing to give that one over to Team EnVy, but that means now the Bard is left up from a champion that wasn't banned before, and that's... I know Hakuho can play it, but Aphromoo basically famous for it.
Yeah.
Trudnle first pick.
I can see that the first pick Trudnle as well, even though Darshan didn't have a great game. There was no way Seraph could push him out. Like, that was the other thing. You had the banner command on one side and the Trudnle on the other side, and that was pretty much why CLG had lane priority throughout the game. I don't really know if Darshan would have a pick that can deal with the Trudnle in a 1v1.
Normally, Irelia's not too great into it, but we have seen champions like Swain usually do a good job against these melees who, well, Swain's banned, sadly, but that'd be the kind of thing where you'd be like, yeah, I'll just kite you around, you can't get onto me, and as long as they have good persistent damage, which Lissandra doesn't really, then you'd be okay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, which is, I think, another reason why EnVy would first pick it. They knew this win was banned. That was what TSM was so successful with against the Trudnle in their set earlier today. It would be interesting if they really quickly try and just pick a Riven, because they could still technically flex the Trudnle down. That wouldn't be likely.
Wow.
Well, even Irelia is dicey.
It is. It is really dicey. And actually, though they were given the Kindred around last time, they'd rather play the early pick Nidalee, so sort of same priority that EnVy was giving to it earlier, but Nidalee for Xmithie, getting that away from Procxin was certainly very effective on the champion. They can play something else. But Darshan playing Irelia into Trudnle is, I would say, still a Trundle-sided matchup.
I agree. I do think that Irelia has better teleport plays, especially in the early and mid game. It's just the Trudnle is more of an immovable force on the map. So CLG will have to be a little bit cute with the way they maneuver, but you can't brute force down a Trudnle. So that'll just change the way CLG approaches their lane swapping.
Well, we know CLG are happy to play more hyper-carry types of marksmen. You see Stixxay playing Tristana and Caitlyn very frequently, who just tend to have better late games than champions like Ezreal or Lucian, which is the consideration right now for EnVy. They're going to play Elise into the Nidalee, and they will play the Lucian themselves to try to win the lane.
Really interesting. We have seen occasional Elise play against both Nidalees and Kindreds, just because one good cocoon can kind of shut down any advantage that champion can accrue from a farm edge. Maybe it's just because EnVy wants a little bit easier of a way to find picks.
All right, well, we'll give them a way in on this one, and that was their choice to go for here. Otherwise, we're just kind of waiting for the competition to really come together. EnVy, very physical heavy. We expect to see a mage coming out of Ninja. We could probably still see a Zyra from Hakuho. I don't think it's a bad champion at all. A little bit worse at playing Keep Away than Irelia. She can kite around and almost one-shot you, but there's always an option there. And CLG really haven't shown anything special except they want to split push with Darshan, which is not news to anybody.
Yeah, so far they have a very early pressure-focused jungler. Nidalee should be outpacing if Xmithie can get a little bit ahead. So I would look for playmakers.
Playmakers
those
are there.
are some playmakers right there. Ashe and Alistar. So a lot of CC potential if Nidalee ever walks close to their lane.
Well, Nidalee, beware. Trudnle could maybe even be, well, thinking about, yeah, Nidalee, beware for arrows, then jump on top of them, basically. But, you know, thankfully for Envy, their players are elusive. The Elise can repel away. The Lucian can also press E and get out of danger. And Seraph, I hope he's just too durable to die. But Ashe is honestly, as long as you're not under threat, one of the highest damage marksmen you can get. Her Q is up almost all the time. You constantly have a big buff. She's a Hurricane user as well, so you can hit several different frontliners. And unless something else goes in the back line, like a mid Lissandra, to combo with an Elise and really get in there, Stixxay will have good uptime to knock down a Trudnle.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that matchup play out. And I'm also wondering if the Trundle's even going to be in the top lane. Hakuho played support Trudnle yesterday.
And now that there's an Alistar, it's actually a reasonably good matchup as well.
Yeah, but they could swap them around if they want to.
Okay, Lissandra, Morgana, the last two pickups here. Those are definitely a bit unique. Morgana support seems a bit more likely, though we have definitely seen things like Morgana mid Lissandra top or Morgana top Lissandra mid. So it's actually still a bit flexible depending on the style they want. Do you want a top lane carry or do you just want utility?
They could. They did that last time. They put a Karma mid lane just so they could have support Trudnle and Lissandra top. It was really interesting flex of the champion. So they have a similar thing here where they have a support that can go mid. Like, it's basically the same swap they'd be able to pull if they wanted to.
And if you are Immortals, you can swap your AD carry as well. Who knows where Lucian's going?
Lucian top. I mean, it was Seraph who showed it to him.
Yeah.
He said in the interview before his game yesterday. So, for CLG,
Zilean comes across. And I really do like this. When you have a high-power bruiser to focus all of your efforts through, Zilean is one of the very best kingmakers as far as supportive mid laners go. Zilean and Lulu really the two big ones for making one champion do a whole lot of work for you. And when a Lissandra tries to attack your back line, just kidding, we're reviving that guy. So I like this, a more utility-focused spot for HuHi, and it's all on Darshan and Stixxay.
Agreed. A pretty execution-heavy team composition for CLG, though. Look, gotta land the skill shots to get the CC chains. And Envy has 7 more seconds to finish this team composition, although I'm not expecting anything to be swapped around. This is the most logical choice for their top, mid, and support. They, too, have very good CC chaining. So I think we're going to be seeing teams trying to play fairly similar styles here in this game.
Envy would be so good at playing a siege, by the way. You've got Trudnle Pillar in a Cocoon or Dark Binding. You can fish with the Claws as well. Yeah, CLG have some of those tools themselves, but it just feels so scary having constant long-range skill shots coming at you here from the Envy lineup. Definitely going to be an interesting one to watch for. New looks for both these squads, and we'll see how well they can play it because we are ready to go into Game 2. So right before we kick off, get on Twitter, tell everyone your predictions, and use the hashtag EnVyWin or hashtag CLGWin here. If you want more games and you want to root for Team Envy, of course, but Counterlogic Gaming up 1-0 in the series, hoping to salvage their season by the end of Week 3. But meanwhile, Team Envy, if they can pull up the win, they could be 5-1 in the first 3 weeks, which would be an amazing start for them, taking these big tests like defending champion CLG, like Immortals yesterday, and Envy can certainly continue to be a top team. So here we go, Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Envy needs to win 2 games in a row after that incredibly competitive Game 1 we just saw, where CLG was able to pull out the victory down the stretch, and that was a very lane swap heavy game. So it'll be super curious to see if we see CLG go for the deep wards yet again with Aphromoo on Alistar. I would expect that he wants to be able to roam, which would dictate to me that yes, they would want a lane swap, because that's also a place where Xmithie can really start cycling through the jungle. But Envy also going in for some wards of their own.
Xmithie wanted to sit down his early traps to help his early jungle clear, but Envy can walk around and eat these and maybe slow down the pacing a little bit. They will get their early deep wards, and CLG on the reaction can do the same. We have Darshan putting a defensive trinket down around his Krugs, and he's actually going to recall and hide away. He did not want to... I want to see if he wants to slink into the top lane or not, because he can always leech XP that way and have a small XP start when everything begins.
Yeah, and just to speak bigger picture.
They misplaced it.
Oh, it's in vision.
Unlucky.
Yeah, you have to put that much closer to the terrain instead of in the middle of the lane, because the vision from the turrets is circular. So if you put it in the terrain, that's really far distance from the center of the turret, whereas if it's in the lane, the turret can sometimes see it on the edge.
Unfortunate there, and that's going to be, I don't know who it was and who we have to shame, but somebody gave Darshan 10 gold, and well, Seraph's already losing the lane matchup, and it wasn't his fault, probably. those two going to start off on the Gromp. Should be going over to Procxin without too much issue for himself. Looks like we did not see EnVy go for Krugs themselves, though. They're just actually walking right into the lane. It's Hakuho trying to stop the jungle pathing.
Yeah, I'm really curious what Darshan is trying to do, though. I mean, a level 1 Irelia, they might be trying to get an early gank on a Ninja.
Is he going to flash stun Ninja or
Would
something?
Would he flash E?
For a double bomb,
Because
right? As soon as he's level 2.
The approach just seems so ambitious. I mean, so top laners can't really do much in a lane swap anyway. So I guess you try and get a kill. But
he flash stun, double bomb,
where's the damage?
Flash pulverize, and it does some damage. Like, okay, that's cute. I like the play. We were right about what it was going to be.
We predicted it. But where is the damage? And now
it's on to HuHi.
Trouble.
Procxin is level 3. He should have Cocoon. Goes for it through Fog, and it will be reflexively flashed by HuHi. You could have cleansed instead, actually, and burned a shorter cooldown, but
yeah.
Okay, that was the level 1.
I'm thinking about it before, and like I can see how that play has worked for them in scrims. Like if the laner is playing aggressively, and he's pushed up in the lane, and you get the basically 5 seconds of crowd control, the 3 champions that are all level 1 or 2 would have the auto attack time to finish him. But because it was in turret range, they had to abandon the play.
Right.
So really, after Darshan goes for the stun, like there's no reason to follow with more CC if he's in turret range. They're never getting that kill in that situation.
Like Darshan flashing a double bomb, okay. Aphro flashing for a pulverize under turret, probably a bit more than is needed. And
yeah.
Okay, a missing cooldown there probably shouldn't be there. Either way, it's a lane swap game. They won't be in combat for a while. CLG looking for the top side turret right now. EnVy knocking this one down a little bit faster, and depending on their pathing, I want to see if they go for the Drake, because I know players like Infernal Drake a whole lot more. And we'll see with an Elise, they can maybe kill that one pretty quickly.
Yep.
And on the minimap, I'm seeing that, yes, that's actually happening here. So I can see what you guys can't, but Infernal Drake is in fact being started. So because of the perceived power of these Drakes, EnVy playing the early game differently.
Yeah, and this is actually going to have deferred power because it's a percentage of your attack damage and ability power. And because they're such low level, they're trying to trade damage on it as best as possible. They take a whole bunch of damage, but they will be able to finish this one off.
Yeah. They reset once, but the smite comes down by Procxin to make sure they can all go back to lane in time. And yes, it will be EnVy short to the play, or late to the play, I should say, because they spent this time taking the Drake. But they'll be able to walk in a lane with similar items at a similar-ish time.
And I feel like they're not as far behind as they would be if CLG hadn't gone for that cheeky mid lane play that wasted a lot of time. But getting Xmithie level 5 will give him a little bit of power. He's going to invade Procxin here, and Procxin should be able to finish off there. There it is.
Finds it to wake his health back up, and he's not under that much risk. However, the rest of that camp is still alive, and there's a pink ward down there, so Xmithie's going to be able to take away the Raptors. Of course, it's now kind of his strong side of the map. He does have Smite. He lands it. And he gets rid of the camp. Level 5 on Nidalee to only level 4 on this Elise.
Be a good chase.
Slow on the Ninja. Jumps around. Bomb's going to miss. And now the teleport coming in from Seraph to put the pillar in. And HuHi is missing his flash, which means the damage comes across. And they knock him down. First blood comes through for Ninja. And Xmithie really regretting this. He's going to survive it. Ninja also got away with a sliver of health left on him.
Yeah, Seraph with the instant flash after his teleport as well. Added to the pillar knockback was just a large amount of burst damage onto HuHi. So nice gank once again by EnVy. Counter gank essentially because Xmithie had jumped in. But that's what Crumbs was talking about on the desk. Seraph and Ninja love to teleport for each other. And they pull it off once again, resulting in first blood.
Nicely done by them, using the junglers back and forth, and Procxin smites it away. Xmithie kills actually not even any of the small spiders, and just walks away sad that his team is now down 500 gold right now. And with the lead on to Ninja, and you're seeing in the picture-in-picture the round 2 lane swap, no big surprises. Solo gold should go to the top laner. Eventually, I think we'll see Darshan come down and grab that.
Yeah, the pacing on the lane swap is a little different, obviously. Seraph was there much sooner. CLG definitely behind in tempo on this lane swap. They fell behind pretty heavily in game 1. They're falling behind a little bit here in game 2. The Drake going down and really not getting any meaningful advantages, as well as getting first blood in the mid lane.
And I need to call out the fact that HuHi chose to flash instead of cleanse Cocoon when he got ganked at level 2. Because when the repeat gank came in, flash was down and there was no CC to be cleansed. And you know, the wrong choice on Summoner Spell really hurt him. And look at this, EnVy able to get first blood, kill turrets at the right pacing, but also get the first break and this nice Rift Herald buff for themselves. Okay, no one took it. Seraph gets it.
Yep.
And Envy just cleanly winning the early game.
That's huge. I mean, we knew Darshan. We thought Darshan was going to have some issues against Seraph before he got the Rift Herald, but now that he's gotten the early one, that'll just add to it. And once again, they get that in pretty low cost, unless Seraph goes down here. CLG wants to cut him off, and Hakuho is going to try and save him. Nice zoning. This delayed the recalls of everyone on Envy because they had to cancel recalls to let Seraph escape. It's going to hurt a little bit.
It will. No one's in the bottom lane, whereas Darshan's already freezing and getting some farm for himself. So yeah, Rift Herald's definitely going to mean quite a bit. Darshan is presently up a fair bit of gold. Actually, currently not, because of just the value of what Seraph's actually killed. If you look at individual money, they're identical. I think Darshan didn't get some of the turret gold, though. They might have actually shared it, which is why he is only at the same amount of money. But he should have a small level lead 5-4 right now.
I've actually seen CLG do that more than you would expect.
Yeah.
Even earlier on, they will share the gold between Stixxay, Darshan, and Aphromoo, whereas pretty much everyone else in the league will be giving solo turret gold to their top laner over and over again. CLG does always like to play by their own book. Like, usually the logic for it is the top laner is so heavily denied in the first place that you need to give him basically the kill worth of gold, and if you give it to someone else, like, he's just going to get bullied 1v1. But for CLG, they're splitting it a little bit, and I don't think that's necessarily wrong. It could mean Aphromoo gets Sightstone or boots mobility faster. It means Stixxay hits an item faster. There are reasons to share the gold. Darshan, though,
in a bad spot. Gets Johnny spotted, but he's got a teammate coming around. Aphromoo does not land the pulverize, but now Procxin really wants in, gets stunned up, gets exhausted, and now they're running away. Darshan's going to survive the encounter, but now it's on to Aphromoo. Ulti in from Ninja, doesn't do quite enough damage, so he's going to survive that as well, and now it's on to Seraph. Javelin hits him, and Stixxay gets the kill. CLG finally answering back, and the volley hit as well just did enough damage, and he's level 5, looking for Ninja, looking to get the kill. They pick him off, he hits level 6, but can't quite hit Procxin. However, that one still comes out as the Lissandra is dead. Another headbutt comes in, a double stun onto Procxin, and that's going to be Elise dropping to the bomb, to the red buff. Xmithie taking him out, 3-1 CLG.
Wow, big chase kill happens right there. Darshan looked like he was in trouble, but the rest of CLG is able to collapse down way before Envy was, and I think it's mainly because Stixxay and Afro were already on the way from base, whereas LOD and Hakuho were in bot lane and top lane respectively. And then Seraph also was a level down despite having the Rift Herald, but Procxin's near him, so he's not getting the benefits of that buff. Darshan doesn't quite die. The exhaust lands from Aphromoo. And Xmithie doesn't even land his first spear. It's just the fact that Envy just doesn't have the damage right now with level 5 Trudnle and a lower level Lissandra. So when CLG gets everyone here first, they're able to just continue the chase. The red buff on Nidalee helps them apply the slows. The volley just barely tagged at the end. And even though the arrow doesn't hit, it made Procxin juke back towards CLG, which gives Afro time to pull off another combo and secures the 3rd kill for CLG. So kind of impressive across the board. And now they were going to go for Seraph. Can't quite get
away. I have to give massive props to Stixxay in that fight. When I said he was level 5, he was level 5. He looked at his XP bar, saw he was a sliver from 6, and kept hitting minions as he was walking down the lane. Got level 6 from last hitting the very injured wave, and then arrowed down.
Nice, but now they are in a numbers disadvantage. Everyone has to run and scatter. Darshan.
Ooh, a nice flash bind, turned into Cocoon, turned into damage up, a pillar as well. Everybody wanted help on this one, and Darshan goes down. LOD gets the kill wearing his team colors. And that's going to be a nice one picked up. Envy finally getting the 2nd kill.
That was an extension of CLG trying to make the play in the bottom lane, and they didn't have enough ward coverage in the jungle to properly get away from that one.
Looks for the burst. No, I'm not going to have it. HuHi pops the ulti. Now Ninja's going to stop hitting him.
Yeah, he can still get him.
What? Why did HuHi flash?
He was worried that the last second of his ultimate was going to end at the wrong time because it was a very tight thing. That's why Ninja threw out the Q. It wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, it was close,
died, but it would have been incredibly close.
Yeah, well, either way, the summoners are burned. He's out of cooldowns now, and it's a 2nd Drake picked up pretty cleanly. Envy took down the bottom lane, made the mid lane flash and run away, and, well, those 2 lanes are gone. The Cloud Drake's going to be easy to pick up. It's now Infernal and Cloud, the buffs right now for Envy. And, well, they're down in gold, but they're up these buffs, which will increasingly start to matter.
Yep.
Ninja getting a, looks like he's doing the same build as Seraph as he also rushes the Hextech GLP.
Yeah.
Frost Belt activated.
I mean, same team, same theory. as wanting that item on the Lissandra. You don't necessarily need the extra health from the Rod of Ages. You're a burst champion on the Lissandra. So they're going to be looking to go in there and burst. It's going to be tough to do against Zilean. And this time, at least, they have slightly better damage spread with physical damage coming out of Seraph, so they won't be running into 150 MR on every target.
Yep.
That'll make bursting a little easier.
Very, very true. I looked at the post-game stats, and LOD was roughly 5-1 in physical to magic. Some of that being that his ult just didn't do anything against a bunch of Banshee's Veil, but yeah. The team overall, I think, was like 3-1 magic to physical. So itemization from CLG was pretty much on point, rushing all the Banshees.
Yeah, I do generally usually credit CLG for the proper item builds. Like, I think they put more time into understanding their rune mastery and item progressions than a lot of other teams do. So they usually gain small advantages from that.
That's one of my favorite parts about League of Legends. To the detriment of some viewers, I apologize if you don't like math, but we'll move on as it's EnVy pushing in the top lane, playing the rotation game. Darshan left alone in the bot lane. He does not have teleport. He cannot join this play if something happens here between EnVy and Counterlogic Gaming, but nothing does.
And if nothing happens, it means he gets a whole bunch of minions to die to EnVy's turret, and EnVy can't go and respond to that wave. Like, that's almost half a kill's worth of minions. That looks like two waves.
It's a double stack wave, yeah.
They crash in to the turret, so it gets a little bit of damage. Also, will pull EnVy all the way down to that bottom side. And now Darshan can just meander back to the mid lane and join the rest of CLG.
Yep, Ninja takes the claw over the wall. One remaining cast minion from that first, from that crash from earlier, and he'll get some of the farm back. But yeah, that is XP and gold that EnVy will never get back. CLG is able to throw away. So now a 1,000 gold lead for a team. And you consider the turret kills being equal and the kills only being one apart, and the fact that they were down the first blood gold, CLG are winning by making the farm be different. Some of that is Xmithie. He's up 30 right now over Procxin.
Yeah, and he's also been granted the Zilean passive twice, which is definitely helping accelerate his experience. That gives him a 10 to 8 level advantage over Procxin, as well as having the completed jungle item, plus Mercury Treads to run around. He's going to shop pretty soon. He's a full 1,000 gold, essentially ahead of Procxin.
Yeah, feels good so far. 900 gold still the advantage. CLG looking to put some plays on the bot side of the map. That pink ward is still down there next to the red buff. You're seeing it just under the screen. Kind of where Procxin's sitting in a way. And Aphro is going to walk by alongside Xmithie, and they're hoping that someone's going to show up to where Darshan is. There's no dive to be had because no one's defending, but at least there's vision to see if someone's going for Darshan on the offensive sense.
Yeah. And one thing EnVy hasn't been able to set up as of yet is any type of split push pressure from Seraph. They gave him the buff from Rift Herald at 6 minutes, and we talk about how long that gets to last, 20 minutes of the buff. It's been about 8.5 minutes, and they haven't been able to get much use out of it, considering the time investment to get it in the first place.
Well, maybe they'll find the advantage later on. They've still got 8 minutes to run with it. See if they get something out of this. HuHi just clearing the mid lane. He's down a bit of minions, but it's not really too bad for him. As we continue the builds going forward, they start off as Zhonya's probably for ninjas. He picks up his Fiendish Codex, and the jungle enchants are done for both of these as they're going runic echoes each. Youmu's done for a lot, as well as 8 CS to go until the Cull is finished off, and that'll be a big surge of gold for him, and it'll bring the scoreboard closer from the top, but it'll also be a power spike for LOD as he gets to go closer to what seems to be Berserker's Greaves and then probably a Black Cleaver.
Most likely that is the build that the Lucians do nowadays, unless you're MASH, who did a throwback Essence Reaper Phantom Dancer build yesterday. I like the Black Cleaver build.
I think it's just absolutely stronger. Oh, a bind onto Xmithie, and now LOD the chase, only forcing him to jump over the wall, but Xmithie waiting around.
Yeah. Just goes back to farming.
He knows no one's there. And then he smites the Wolf Camp to know really who's there, but oh!
Seraph was hoping that that pillar would block the jump, but Xmithie is able to get over the wall anyways. He held it. This is a little bit of map pressure, though, that EnVy's been able to get. Lissandra up on one side. They have both teleports, so they could technically save him. That's a nice arrow, though.
And it's going to be a lot of CC because Aphro goes in for the combo. This is maybe bad things ahead for Ninja, but here's the teleport in for Seraph. A bit of damage onto him. Xmithie's here, and no, it's Darshan as well. Goodbye. That was an ill-fated teleport by Seraph. Gives away a kill.
Using the tendencies of EnVy against them, but HuHi in the mid lane against the other three gets stunned.
Cleanses immediately, gets cocooned afterwards, still is able to get away thanks to Burning Flash on top of it, but now another attempt for Ninja. Slows down Darshan, but there's a minion wave very far away. They will not chase any farther. Yes, Seraph dies, but mid lane Adder was killed off by EnVy.
Yeah, all things considered, that's actually a positive gold trade for EnVy because they got the turret for just 1 kill, and CLG did end up trading the equal number of teleports. So while it was a nice idea to go up and go for the kill on Ninja, knowing Seraph's going to teleport in, very quick counter to be able to then just kill Seraph, but Ninja gets away, they only get 1 kill, and because they invested so much to go for that top lane kill, they lose their mid lane turret. But watching this again, the Ashe arrow hits him, so he cannot take his claw. The instant teleport in from Seraph, Stixxay respects it. Aphromoo doesn't have to worry because he has ultimate ready. Xmithie lands spear, and then Darshan teleports in. That might have been the kicker. They didn't need Darshan, so to speak, because it was going to be a 3v4, and that gave the numbers advantage for EnVy in the mid lane.
True.
Which could then get the turret.
They were able to really heavily threaten HuHi in the 3v1, burn both of his summoners when he lost the turret anyway, so it was a resource loss. But CLG now, the ones with the tempo lead, they went right in for this Cloud Drake. Knocked that one down without any issues at all. Xmithie very high level, 11 on him to the 10 on Procxin. He's continued to been given or donated levels from HuHi's Zilean. Now look for the bot lane, and Ninja forced to run away. Headbutt in, look for the pulverize. Arrow's gonna land as well. The combo pulverize a little bit early, but it's still gonna be enough damage. They knock him down cleanly. He had no way out of that one. A great kill by Counter Logic Gaming. Now Darshan forced to run away from Seraph. A thankful minion blocks the Dark Binding. Stay alive for now. Yeah,
perfect timing by Stixxay on that Ashe. It almost looked like he shot a little early, but the hitbox catches him just as he becomes targetable yet again. But here, EnVy still with a nice response. They realize their Ninja's getting attacked on one side, and EnVy's able to pull an offensive on the other.
It's good to see, though, that EnVy are able to make some proactive plays themselves and kind of keep this game pretty close as they trade advantages back and forth. CLG knock the turret down, bring the gold back in their favor. Xmithie now taking a Zilean ulti and running away because he's going to get dropped pretty soon. Procxin wants in the back line and nicely played. Waits out the ulti, gets the kill, runs with the black shield on. No threat on him at all. A beautiful dive by EnVy. And now it's them tying the gold back up.
Yeah, HuHi's been a little early on his Zilean ultimates, and EnVy's been very disciplined about waiting at the right time to use them. Also, because CLG isn't putting the Zilean ult on like really high threat targets, CLG's not getting that much out of it as of yet.
They haven't been team fighting.
Yeah, Zilean ult a really interesting spell. When you're good with it, you can get so many advantages, or when you're good against it, you can make it feel useless sometimes.
Yeah.
And CLG's team composition, like, unless they're team fighting and there's huge amounts of damage that can be done or be taken, it is easier to just wait out right now. And HuHi has yet to get good value out of it.
He really has. It's not been too much coming out of this one. It'll be 4 Darshan or 6 in a team fight almost definitely when they do go in and go for the hardcore dives. It allows Xmithie to maybe do a very aggressive build, but he's actually going to be doing, looks like Mercury Treads into an Abyssal Scepter, so something actually pretty tanky for him to withstand Ninja and Procxin's damage. Get through the crowd control, so he's actually doing something kind of defensive. Yeah. Nice bind onto Aphromoo, who's got Aegis for himself, and probably gets more soon.
So another one of these games that is very close.
Yes.
EnVy has had 3 of these close games in a row, if we count the 2 ones against Immortals and game 1 against CLG, and have technically lost 3 of them. And one of the things they said is they know how to win games against the lower tier teams, but it's a much different animal to win games against the top tier teams. And that's what they need to learn how to do if they want to become one of the top tier teams. And technically, this is their 4th attempt in a row, so they really need to be able to start converting these, and it would have to start here.
They're certainly getting very good practice, and of course, everyone knows you kind of look at how good the teams are when choosing scrim partners. TSM gets anyone they want, and when you look at how well teams like EnVy are playing, it means they get a chance to play some of the top dogs and get that practice when they're not on the LCS stage. Right now, EnVy hoping to keep this going for themselves and give their fans hope and secure their spot in the standings. No Drake for a little while, but looks like Seraph wants to do a bit to Darshan. Nope, it's going to be an Irelia running away, but now Procxin wants into the jungle. Hakuho and LOD roaming around, and honestly, it's a very active team by EnVy. You're seeing them really take the strides to look for these advantages, to poke and prod at CLG, to take the rotations. And again, they are almost good enough to win these games. We'll see if they can do it here. Bit of damage on this turret.
Yeah, finally we see 5 people grouped up as well, so you gotta wonder whether or not CLG thinks they're strong enough to take these 5 versus 5 team fights. 2 items on Stixxay. Zilean ultimate might get a little bit more use, but Nidalee still would be very squishy. Darshan's Irelia. Irelia in general, not known as the greatest team fighter. You gotta wonder how CLG's hoping to claw back in this one because it's very close, but it seems like the waves have been going in EnVy's favor. This time though, EnVy goes in a recall pattern and CLG trying to get a bunch of damage on the mid lane turret.
In right away, plenty of damage there, but Seraph puts the pillar down, tanks up and says, don't you dare go for this, it's my domain, and it's gonna be okay for now, but a low health turret to be sure. 300 gold only separates these 2 teams. as EnVy made a play for the bot lane tier 2, couldn't quite get it. CLG went for mid, couldn't quite get that one, and now a quick culling by LOD, and that means the mid lane is gone for a solid 30 seconds now. Nothing to do in this side of the map, so run away, do something else. CLG set up a trap in the bottom side brush. Pink ward there, Aphromoo in front, nothing to be found.
Yeah, and a very tense game here. 22 minutes in. I think the Infernal Drake is the main thing that would edge EnVy a little bit ahead.
Certainly.
There's different champions that will be strong in the late game for each team, which makes it another one of those things that like any edge is going to matter. Seraph is going to be huge in the really late game on Trudnle. Stixxay, I think, is going to be huge in the late game as well. So it's all about who can get the right CC in these siege situations, since the wave control is actually kind of switched off to just 5-man grouping right now, which is quite odd. Expect them to run back to their lanes and get back to wave.
Yeah, you're seeing actually Seraph and Darshan split off down the river, carried by the tide. And
wait a minute, we need to go manage these waves, they say.
yeah, hold on. We've got minions to kill. There's farm to be had.
Yeah.
Get away from this one. Teleport is only up for Darshan, not up for Seraph, so a theoretical 5v4 is an option. And it's going to be just Ninja walking away, taking the claw out. Titanic Hydra pushes pretty fast, but Darshan's not exactly slow. Seraph is still first by a little bit. He's slightly faster, and he takes Krugs because of that. Just because he pushes faster, he gets to get 100 gold and about 200 experience that Darshan doesn't get access to.
Yeah, he is 700 gold ahead of Darshan right now. And obviously with Trudnle, in any type of dueling situation, that's not something Darshan can match. Trudnle, even when Trudnle is like 0-5-0, he'll still outduel Irelia late in the game because he just gets to steal the other guy's advantages temporarily. It's kind of ridiculous. But it comes at a cost of being very kiteable, especially against Ashe, Alistar, Zilean. It will be tricky for Seraph to get in the right position to team fights.
Yep.
This Infernal Drake is absolutely huge, though.
It really is. CLG can completely tie the score, or EnVy can get a whole lot of extra attack damage and ability power, which certainly means a lot for these later game team fights.
Yeah, and the Lissandra for Ninja is very strong right now with the Abyssal Scepter and the GLP. His burst is immense. If he gets onto the right target, he could blow them up. But a lot of MR on COD as well. And
Speaking
they
of blowing up, they caught Hakuho with the double bomb. He's just gone. A stun lands on a Ninja as well. Darshan to slow it up, but he jumps in, goes for a ton of burst. Look how low Aphromoo is. Just gets culled down. HuHi goes for the revive on himself, but they're not targeting him. They're just going to take down the Ashe. HuHi's ult meant nothing. His carries are all dead. EnVy's picked up 4.
And it looked like such a good start for CLG, but they get all the burst on its support, and then even though Aphromoo exhausted Ninja, he still gets off a spectacular ultimate and has all those extra burst spells, including the GLP. Again, HuHi's ultimate is ineffective. The discipline of EnVy to target the right champions during it, and instead of going for Infernal Drake number 2, they turn for Baron.
And there is no chance at a steal. Nobody's in range. Nobody's got the skill shots to land. There is nothing that can take this away from EnVy. And it will be going over to the blue side. And looks like they might finally break the streak of game losses here, leading in game 2 against CLG.
Yeah, watching this fight once again. Aphromoo gets sped up. They have the ward over the wall. And they just chain the pulverize with the Ashe, but that's all of their initiation, right? So Aphromoo is a little bit low. He gets the exhaust onto Ninja. And then Ninja blows all of this into an exhaust. Still gets a whole bunch of damage off, still has a lot of burst off after he gets out of the self-ult. And then LOD has great target selection on the backside of the fight as well as Seraph, because as CLG was running up the ramp, they ran into a Trudnle, and another fight is happening down at the bottom side. Aphromoo, no ultimate.
Aphromoo is going to get popped. He's going to revive thanks to HuHi. Now the re-engage. They stun up Ninja, headbutt him into the team. Double bomb lands as well. He's gone. It's a 1-4, and the support is dead as well. And it's Hakuho looking for a big soul shackles. Catches the bit, and the bind hits HuHi. He's got summoners gone, and it's going to be Cocoon now as well. The flash in, the chase down, the kill picked up. CLG lose 3, and we only lose 1.
Questionable headbutt there from Aphromoo. Ninja did a bunch of burst before dying after he got headbutted in, and now EnVy has a strong push with Baron buff.
They're getting a lot done with this one. 5 turrets already picked up. They've got more time to run with 20 seconds on Ninja, but he has teleport when he comes back up. 15 on Stixxay, 25 on HuHi. This will be at least an inhibitor turret. We'll see if they want more, because it's a 4 versus 3.
Yeah.
In 6 seconds, a 4 versus 4, and they've got Trudnle Pillar to disengage. That will be the inhibitor going down. A clean retreat by Team EnVy, and look at this lead. 8,000 with an inhibitor down.
Yeah, they broke this game wide open, and a lot of it has to do with Ninja getting good Lissandra combos off, but it also has to do with LOD playing exceptionally well in these team fights.
Yes.
He's completed the important items of that build. He's in a super power spike state, and like comparing Stixxay's damage output to LOD's damage output in these fights just isn't even close.
It is not.
Stixxay's getting run at by Trudnle, but his LOD has had perfect target prioritization. And here, Seraph just runs straight at Aphromoo, knowing his ultimate is down. Great binding from Hakuho. They finish him off, or come basically push him down to the Zilean ultimate. And then, watch the burst Ninja gets off. 3 people get WQ'd, so they're rooted and then slowed, and that allows the rest of EnVy to just pile in for the fight. Binding lands on a HuHi, then a Cocoon just chaining the CC one after the other. And then they take their Baron, since they already have it, take the inhibitor, and also are able to pick up Infernal Drake number 2, so they're in great position to force a game 3 here.
This is just a great amount of things to have, especially when you're ahead. Infernal Drake is the best one because it just lets you snowball the lead with the extra stats you've already got and really push the delta in power. EnVy looking now at the top lane as their next major objective. And
CLG doesn't have any of the tools they had to come back in the game that they had in Game 1. In Game 1, they had the Trudnle versus Lissandra matchup, so at least they had priority in one lane. Here, Seraph takes the priority away from Darshan, so that's out. They also had double teleport to at least match, and HuHi had kill pressure on anyone in the side lane. With the Rise banned and Zilean for HuHi, he's a supportive mid laner. He has none of that either, so really CLG's only option at that point is to think about team fighting. But they're losing those two because Ninja is getting off just such good combos in fights, and Stixxay has no way of staying alive. So over and over, EnVy is out-executing and taking the options away from CLG.
Well played by them. Binding comes across, actually lands onto Xmithie, but Nidalee not the easiest of targets as he goes towards actually a Lich Bane to try to be a part of an assassin and maybe threaten the Lucian somewhat. Mid lane under fire though, gets dropped down pretty easily. Baron buff has timed out, so now they're on equal footing buff-wise in a sense, but of course, double Infernal Drake and 9,000 gold certainly means quite a bit. And that is correct, by the way. It's going to be 3rd Infernal Drake up there, and my gosh, EnVy would love that and just have ridiculous stat leads.
Yeah, that is the dream. 24% bonus attack damage and ability power, especially when you're considering Ninja just trying to burst people out. Really difficult place for CLG to be in. They got to hope that EnVy overcommits.
They're going to hope that they can turn around a dive, and certainly they have some champs that are good at it. Irelia does well when low, lands the stun. Zilean can revive somebody to make sure they're safe. Aphromoo is pretty impossible to dive, and Stixxay's got the CC, so there are tools to win a fight under turret, but there's no way to get the map control back easily. As long as EnVy respect the long-range arrows, and guess what? They run Morgana. So if Hakuho is there, they shouldn't be landing these crystal arrows to any major effect. And should be an easy road ahead for Team EnVy. We'll see if they can close one out. They said it's been hard to beat top teams and finish what they started. In Game 2, they might. Yeah, they're definitely building towards that. Add the Morgana being able to Black Shield and Arrow, and he's also going to have Mikhail soon. So even if someone gets hit, the Ashe's initiation potential is dwindling as the game progresses. QSS probably coming up soon for LOD as well. Many people have ways of avoiding the Ashe arrows very soon. I wonder if they're just going to wait this out a little bit. Just get vision control. It's probably the right call to just get vision control, wait for CLG to check, then they can chain CC, and if they need to, they can get Baron and the 3rd Infernal Drake. Double Sightstone, double Sweeper, and a yellow Trinket. EnVy can completely play for top jungle vision control. Look at the pink wards coming down. They are removing all the sight that CLG could have. The only ward they've got is actually one snuck into the Baron pit and one around the red buff. Otherwise, it is dark around there. CLG can't see too terribly much. A Javelin doesn't even hurt Hakuho that badly. Has a locket going towards Mikhail, so honestly, reasonable MR on a Morgana. Yep. CLG might just try a desperation fight here because EnVy's just brute forcing him to the base. You'd think CLG would try to fight, but they just know they're so much weaker. And even without a Baron buff, it only gets worse over time. CLG, you're right, they kind of do need to find something to fight for. The turret went down uncontested though, and that is one less bastion that CLG can use for fortification. The turret getting dropped below half HP, a quick filler by Seraph, and look, without fear, just walks right back up, poke on Aphromoo. And look at this now, Black Shield and a lot. A bit more dark, so the arrow out. Yeah, they're gonna go for Hakuho. He's gonna get almost sniped down, but he stays alive actually. It's now a lot of time built by Ninja. Damage on a lot, almost dropped. Can they get it? Yes, they can! A shutdown, 2 picked up. Darshan running away. he dies, but it's a 2-for-1 so far. Double bomb right on top of where Ninja would be. Xmithie running away, staying alive. HuHi has already used his ultimate. The Rive's already come through, but Ashe has dropped, so has the Alistar. Ninja and Seraph still alive to wreak havoc in a 2-on-2. Both mid laners alive, but will it be enough? HuHi's dropped down. A great play by Ninja. His ability power is so high, and now Xmithie's stuck in a 1 versus 2. He can't kill Seraph. He's gonna try, but that pill is gonna stop off a Ninja.
And we said CLG would only win a fight if EnVy overcommit. EnVy overcommits and win the fight anyways. Even with a lot of nice spells by CLG there and a great pick to start the fight on Hakuho, just the raw power of EnVy's team can end up giving them the team fight win, and then the minions kill the re-kill the inhibitor on the other side.
Right, there's still a super inside that side of the map, so a fresh double inhibitor kill makes things hard for CLG.
Watching this one again, basically Hakuho used his black shield too early. Stixxay sees that, knows Hakuho has nothing to protect himself, nails him with the arrow, but watch the counter engage by Ninja. Also note the double bomb stuns Seraph to delay his retreat, and not everyone gets caught inside this. Also, Stixxay is able to get utilization out of the Zilean ultimate, so he comes back up at full health, and then the exhaust lands. So the second round of burst is going to be much harder for Stixxay to cut through, but Procxin and Ninja just keep going on to him again and again, so he can only stay alive for so long. HuHi lands as many bombs as possible, but he gets in range for that 1 Q. It's a very low cooldown on Q, so he gets another one, lands a Z, gets another Q, and really just outplays HuHi at the end of that fight.
And there's the third Infernal Drake going over to Team EnVy. And they are so powerful right now. They could take any fight and win it without almost a care in the world. As long as it's not a total catastrophe positioning-wise, it shouldn't be too hard to win any battle they want. Baron Nash are back up at the map. Elder Dragon up in 6 minutes. And EnVy are going to play for the top side. However, CLG have snuck plenty of wards back in there. They will take a lot of effort to get that vision gone.
I really want to see what Ninja's ability power could be if he finishes a death cap. And you're then taking the death cap multiplier and then the Infernal Drake 24% multiplier.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't have crazy AP right now.
534 is not too bad.
It's very good, especially for a death capless build.
Yeah.
Even so, they're going right for Baron. Probably fight.
They want a one-shot Xmithie. He's taking plenty of punishment. He goes down. No smite left up. The binding hits Stixxay, but Hakuho losing a lot of health. Arrowed up as well. They've got the auto attacks, but Baron's already gone. And Aphromoo just running away with a bomb on him. And look at Darshan. He took the wrong route into this one. He gets the revive. That's kind of nice, I guess, but they'll force him to revive. And then they'll pick him up pretty shortly. It's going to be Aphromoo going down. A kill picked up by Seraph's Trudnle, and it's going to be Stixxay dropping. Aphromoo's already died after the revive as well. HuHi, the only surviving member of Counter Logic Gaming, LOD, just going to walk right forward. This will be the game. There is no chance to stop this one. Team EnVy can be mad at themselves for not quite closing out Game 1, but Game 2 is certainly going to be theirs. A 35-minute win. They will pull it to Game 3 and knock down the defending champions. A good way to make a statement that EnVy are here to stay. They want to make that record 5-1. One more game, that's the case.
Yeah, pretty nice victory here from EnVy, bouncing back after that close Game 1.